Did you know that Sofia Vergara became the highest-paid TV actress in the world? Or that Reese Witherspoon, in addition to acting, built a whole business around turning books into movies? That's right. Today we'll be looking at some of Hollywood's richest stars and how they amassed their current fortunes. Let's watch it. It's fascinating. Nicole Kidman. Sometimes following a straightforward career path can take you far without needing to do anything extraordinary or unusual. Take Nicole Kidman as an example, one of Hollywood's most acclaimed and versatile actresses who has amassed a fortune estimated at around $350 million, with her wealth coming primarily from her successful acting career and nothing more. Nicole began her career in her native Australia with roles in films and television during the 1980s. Her first major international success came with the film Dead Calm, which propelled her to recognition in Hollywood. However, it was her role in Days of Thunder, alongside Tom Cruise, that truly launched her career in the United States, leading her into the world of Hollywood. Kidman continued with a series of successful film roles in the 90s and early 2000s, including Far and Away, To Die For, Eyes Wide Shut, Moulin Rouge, and The Others. Her performance in The Hours earned her the Oscar for Best Actress. Over the years, she has demonstrated remarkable versatility, taking on roles in a wide range of genres, from dramas to thrillers and even musicals. Her ability to tackle challenging roles and her talent for bringing complex characters to life have allowed her to negotiate high salaries for her performances, with fees exceeding $10 million per film on multiple occasions. In other words, when you hire someone capable of making you laugh, cry, or dance, you need to be ready to open your wallet. In recent years, as is often the case with many successful actresses, Kidman has expanded her career into production, founding her own company, Blossom Films, in 2010. Through this, she has produced several acclaimed films and TV series, including Big Little Lies, where she also starred as Celeste Wright. This series was not only a major success, but also earned Nicole an Emmy for her acting and another for her work as executive producer. She's living proof that if you're good at what you do, focusing on your career is all it takes. Reese Witherspoon. When you're a famous actress, you gain access to the hidden world behind the scenes in the film industry. And if you're as savvy as Reese Witherspoon, you can use that to create a whole media empire, amassing a fortune of $400 million. Yes, the star of Legally Blonde is that wealthy. Reese started her Hollywood career at a young age, but her breakthrough role came in the comedy Legally Blonde. Just like her character in the cult classic, Witherspoon proved she was not just a pretty face, but also incredibly intelligent. Her success continued with roles in films like Sweet Home Alabama and Walk the Line, which earned her an Academy Award for Best Actress. But what truly made her a multimillionaire was her foray into film production in 2016. She co-founded the media company Hello Sunshine with the aim of creating content that highlights women's voices and stories. Hello Sunshine searches for books in the literary world that can be easily adapted for film or TV, negotiating with authors, mostly women, to acquire the rights and bring these stories to the screen. The production company has been behind several successful series and movies, including Big Little Lies, The Morning Show, and Little Fires Everywhere, where Witherspoon also acts. So, not only did she create a multimedia company, but she also gave herself work. How clever. Hey Reese, if you're listening, the writer of Incredible has a few published books. Why not take a look? Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer is one of Hollywood's most iconic actresses, with an estimated net worth of around $320 million. Much of this comes from one source, the legendary 90s series Friends. While Aniston has had other notable roles, what really catapulted her to success and earned her most of her fortune was playing Rachel Green on Friends, which became a cultural phenomenon and remains one of the most popular and profitable TV shows in history. During the early seasons, Aniston and her co-stars earned about $22,500 per episode. However, midway through the series, they managed to negotiate a salary of $1 million per episode, making her one of the highest-paid actresses on television at the time. Even after Friends ended in 2004, Aniston continued to make significant money through syndication and streaming deals. If you've ever watched Friends anywhere, you've helped increase her earnings, as she and her co-stars are estimated to make between $10 and $20 million a year, just from royalties. Besides her TV success, Jennifer has starred in numerous hit films throughout her career, including Marley and Me, The Breakup, Horrible Bosses, and We're the Millers. These box office successes not only reinforced her status in Hollywood, but also allowed her to negotiate significant salaries for her roles, often exceeding $10 million per movie. She has also ventured into production with her company, Echo Films, with notable projects including The Morning Show, where she also acts. So, 60% of Aniston's success came from acting on Friends, and the rest was knowing what to do with the fame she gained from the show. Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts is one of those actresses who has won the hearts of several generations, largely due to her ability to play the romantic interest. She's even known as America's sweetheart, because many of her roles involve being the love interest or exploring romantic relationships, making her the ideal romantic figure for many who grew up with her films. But how much does America's sweetheart make? Well, Roberts' fortune is estimated at around $250 million, mostly attributed to her successful acting career. Julia started in the 1980s, but she gained international fame with her role in the romantic comedy Pretty Woman. The film was a huge hit and propelled her to stardom, making her one of the most sought-after actresses of the decade. Julia took full advantage of that boost in fame. Throughout the 90s and 2000s, she starred in a series of films, often labeled chick flicks, that were undoubtedly successful. Films like My Best Friend's Wedding, Notting Hill, Runaway Bride, and Erin Brockovich were all hits. Her performance in Erin Brockovich earned her the Oscar for Best Actress and a $20 million salary, making her the first woman in Hollywood to receive that amount per film, a significant milestone for pay equity in the film industry. Julia continued to land well-paying roles in movies such as Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, Eat, Pray, Love, and Wonder. Many attribute her acting success to her ability to choose projects she knew would be big box office hits, making each contract more valuable. In addition to her film work, she has boosted her fortune through lucrative advertising contracts. Since 2009, she has been the face of Lancôme, a luxury cosmetics brand, earning her tens of millions of dollars. She's also worked with other major brands, significantly increasing her income outside of Hollywood. In recent years, she's diversified her career by working in television and production, including starring in the Amazon Prime Video series Homecoming, which received critical acclaim. Charlize Theron. If you know a bit about Charlize Theron's story, you'll know that nothing came easy for her. She had a traumatic childhood and saw many of her dreams dashed, but fortunately, all that early suffering has paid off. Today, the South African actress has a net worth estimated at $200 million, more than the GDP of some countries. Theron's fortune has been built through her involvement in several major action films. However, unlike other actresses, none of these films was a blockbuster hit strong enough to account for all her wealth. Instead, Charlize's fortune has been accumulated gradually from various successful films over 3 decades of work. So, it's more about an entire career as an actress than any single role. Besides acting, she has produced several films through her company, Denver and Delilah Productions. Some notable productions from her company include The Burning Plane, Atomic Blonde, and Bombshell. If these films sound important to her, it's no coincidence. As a producer, she has gained creative control over the projects she participates in and a more significant share of the profits. Let me tell you, producers get paid better than actors, so keep that in mind if you want to enter the film industry. While most of her wealth has come from films, she has also been the face of various luxury brands, with the most lucrative contract being with Dior for their J'adore fragrance. Give a thumbs up and subscribe if you remember those quirky Dior commercials featuring the actress. Scarlett Johansson. Having a celebrated career in film with several movies contributing to your fortune is one thing, but landing a significant role in one of the highest-grossing franchises in history is another. And if you're Scarlett Johansson, you can have the best of both worlds and reach a net worth estimated between $165 million and $180 million. Now let's talk about where all that money comes from. Here's where artistic technique must separate itself from the economics of cinema because, paradoxically, most of Johansson's fortune comes from what many critics consider some of her weaker roles. You see, Scarlett began her acting career at a young age, but it was her role in Lost in Translation that catapulted her to stardom. Her performance in the film earned widespread critical acclaim and several awards, helping solidify her status in Hollywood. However, this wasn't what brought her most of her fortune. That came later when she played Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Johansson debuted as this character in Iron Man 2 and continued portraying her in several films, including Avengers Endgame, which became the highest-grossing film of all time. But according to many critics, the Black Widow role was arguably one of the most boring and least charismatic in the franchise, as it was a supporting character that couldn't compete with stars like Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. So, paradoxically, the actress's fortune came from a role that wasn't particularly significant. Scarlett has also proven to be a savvy negotiator. In 2021, she filed a lawsuit against Disney for the simultaneous release of Black Widow in theaters and on its streaming platform, Disney+. The lawsuit alleged that this strategy cost her millions in box office bonuses. The case was settled with an agreement that reportedly gave her a significant sum. So a large part of her fortune is thanks to not being fooled by Disney. Meryl Streep. There's a recurring joke on the internet that Meryl Streep can't sneeze too hard without winning an Oscar. And if you look at her awards record, it's easy to see why. Almost every film she's been in has earned her some major recognition, totaling over 20 nominations and 3 Best Actress Oscars. All that talent translates into a fortune of $100 million. Throughout her career, Meryl Streep has been adept at negotiating contracts that reflect her status in the industry. After all, hiring a 3-time Oscar winner isn't the same as hiring just any actor, and Streep's per-film salary has progressively increased with each project, especially since the 2000s. Her established reputation allowed her to demand higher pay. For instance, it was reported that she received over $20 million for her role in The Iron Lady, with a share of the film's profits. So anyone who tells you that talent doesn't pay is lying. It's just a matter of learning how to negotiate. Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock is one of Hollywood's most beloved and successful actresses, with one of the most unique acting careers out there. In fact, in one year, she won an Oscar and a Razzie, a mock award for the worst films of the year. Despite the unusual nature of her career, she has amassed a fortune estimated at around $250 million. Sandra began gaining recognition in the early 90s with films like Demolition Man and Speed, the latter of which was a major box office hit that catapulted her to stardom. Her role in Speed established her as a leading action star in Hollywood, and she continued to build a diverse career, mostly in romantic comedies, but also in dramas and thrillers. Some of her most successful films include Miss Congeniality, The Proposal, and The Blind Side, the latter of which earned her an Academy Award for Best Actress. In 2013, Bullock starred in Gravity, a sci-fi film that initially had little promise but turned into a global phenomenon, grossing over $700 million. Her performance earned her another Oscar nomination, and for that role alone, she made about $70 million, including salary, bonuses, and a percentage of the profits. Interestingly, Sandra has often starred in films expected to have moderate success, but which ended up being huge hits, giving her an unexpected financial boost. Jennifer Lawrence. When you're the star of one of the highest-grossing film franchises of a decade, it's pretty hard not to be a millionaire. That's the case with the incredibly talented Jennifer Lawrence, who went from a top box office star to one of the most celebrated actresses of her decade, and currently has a fortune estimated at $160 million as of 2024. Jennifer gained global fame with her role as Katniss Everdeen in The Hunger Games franchise. This series brought in a significant portion of her wealth, as the films were massive box office successes, some of the biggest of the 2010s. Lawrence was also very shrewd in negotiating her contracts, not just for these films, but for all her subsequent projects. In addition to her film career, she has secured lucrative endorsement deals with major brands. One of the most notable is her agreement with Dior, which has earned her millions by representing the brand in high-profile advertising campaigns and events like the Academy Awards. As is often the case with many actresses, she has also ventured into film production. She founded a production company called Excellent Cadaver, which has produced both film and television projects. It's proof that someone can understand both the artistic and financial sides of the film industry. Margo Robbie. Sometimes in the acting world, a standout supporting role in the right film can catapult you to Hollywood stardom. And if you follow that with a major film of the decade, well, that's even better. That's exactly what happened to Margo Robbie, one of the most talented and charismatic actresses of the new generation, who has amassed an estimated fortune of around $60 million. It might not seem like much compared to others, but given her career length, she accumulated her wealth much faster. Margo began her acting career in her native Australia, appearing in the popular TV series Neighbours. But local fame wasn't enough for her. Her international breakthrough came when she moved to Hollywood and landed a prominent role in The Wolf of Wall Street, directed by Martin Scorsese and starring Leonardo DiCaprio. Her portrayal of Naomi LaPaglia, DiCaprio's character's wife, was critically acclaimed and helped establish her as a rising star in the industry. Following this success, Robbie landed some truly iconic roles, such as Harley Quinn in the DC Comics film universe. While the DC universe didn't achieve the same success as Marvel's, Margo's rise to superstardom had to wait until the historic release of Barbie in 2023, which became one of the highest-grossing films of the decade, making her one of the biggest stars of the contemporary era. In addition to her acting success, she has expanded her career into production. In 2014, she co-founded the production company Lucky Chap Entertainment with her husband, Tom Ackerley, and other partners. Lucky Chap Entertainment has produced several successful films and TV series, including I, Tanya, Birds of Prey, and Promising Young Woman, the latter winning an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. Jane Fonda. If something seems ridiculous but makes you incredibly rich, then it's not ridiculous at all. And Jane Fonda's story might be the perfect example of this. Much of her fortune, estimated at around $200 million, comes from one of the most unexpected sources. In fact, you'd never guess where this actress's wealth came from. Jane comes from a family of legendary actors, being the daughter of the renowned actor Henry Fonda, who was a major star in the 30s and 40s. Just like her father, she found success with significant roles in 60s classics, such as Barbarella and They Shoot Horses, Don't They?, which earned her her first Oscar nomination. Later in her career, she won 2 Oscars for Best Actress for her performances in Clute and Coming Home. So Fonda was already a highly successful actress for her time, with a typical Hollywood star's fortune. However, in the late 70s and early 80s, she ventured into the world of fitness and released a quirky series of aerobics videos on VHS. What we're looking at here. Today, these videos may seem somewhat eccentric and awkward, but in the early 80s, they became a cultural phenomenon. Jane's video series was among the first exercise videos on the market and sold millions of copies worldwide. In no time, the earnings from these aerobics videos surpassed her film income. Of course, this success led to numerous other exercise videos and related books, further solidifying her wealth and influence in popular culture. As if that wasn't enough, Fonda returned to acting in the 2000s and has appeared sporadically in small roles over the past 3 decades. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Some people are just lucky in life and manage to accumulate vast amounts of money from various sources, like Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She landed a role in an iconic series and then received a gigantic inheritance, achieving a fortune estimated at around $250 million. Dreyfus started her comedy career in the mid-80s as part of the cast of Saturday Night Live. However, it was her role on Seinfeld that made her a household name. Seinfeld is one of the most successful TV series in history, and she played Elaine Beanies throughout the show's 9 seasons. The series was so absurdly popular that one of the few times New York City was nearly empty was the night the final episode aired. So you can imagine. Initially, her salary wasn't extraordinary, but over time, and with the success of Seinfeld, she and her co-stars negotiated significantly higher salaries, and by the final season, she was earning around $600,000 per episode. She then continued her TV career with The New Adventures of Old Christine, for which she won a Golden Globe, and later starred in Veep, which was critically acclaimed and earned her multiple Emmy Awards. Julia was already very successful, but in addition to everything she earned through her own efforts, her father, Gerard LouisDreyfus, a billionaire businessman and president of LouisDreyfus Energy Services, one of the largest commodities firms in the world, left her a substantial inheritance upon his death. Kate Winslet. When you're the lead in one of the highest-grossing films of all time, you no longer have to worry about money, and whatever you do in your career, everyone will remember you for that one role. That was the case for Kate Winslet, one of the most respected and talented actresses of her generation, who has accumulated a fortune estimated at around $65 million. Winslet's wealth primarily comes from her successful film career. But let's not kid ourselves. Most of it comes from her starring role in the mega-hit film Titanic. Kate began her acting career on British television in the 1990s, but she started making a name for herself in cinema with her performance in Heavenly Creatures, directed by Peter Jackson. Her role in Sense and Sensibility in 1995 catapulted her to international recognition, earning her first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. But the real turning point in her career came with Titanic. As this film became the highest-grossing film of all time up to that point, Winslet ended up being one of Hollywood's most sought-after actresses. In the following years, she continued to demonstrate her versatility and talent with roles in films like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Finding Neverland, The Reader, Revolutionary Road, and Steve Jobs. Her performance in The Reader earned her the Oscar for Best Actress in 2009, after several previous nominations. Kate has also been recognized for her ability to choose roles that are both artistically challenging and commercially viable. She often plays complex characters in intense dramas, which has allowed her to maintain a solid reputation and secure well-paying roles in the film industry. In recent years, she has expanded her work into television, starring in the acclaimed HBO miniseries Mare of Easttown. Her role as a detective in a small Pennsylvania town earned her several awards, including the Emmy for Best Actress in a miniseries or television movie. Jessica Alba. Just because you have a career in the entertainment world doesn't mean you can't venture into business. If you don't believe me, look at the story of the famous Jessica Alba, who has amassed a fabulous fortune of $200 million, not just from her acting career, but from a curious foray into the business world. Jessica started her acting career in the late 1990s, but gained fame with her starring role in the TV series Dark Angel. Her performance earned her a Golden Globe and established her as one of Hollywood's rising stars. From there, she starred in a series of successful films, including Honey, Sin City, and Fantastic Four, among others. So the actress already had a track record. However, in 2011, she decided to dive headfirst into the business world by founding The Honest Company, a company focusing on producing safe, non-toxic, and environmentally friendly consumer products such as diapers, cleaning products, and personal care items. Alba was inspired to create the company after struggling to find safe and eco-friendly products for her first child. The Honest Company launched with a range of baby care essentials and quickly expanded to a broader range of consumer products. The company gained popularity due to its focus on transparency, sustainability, and ethics, resonating especially with young, environmentally conscious consumers. In 2015, The Honest Company was valued at $1.7 billion, making Alba one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the consumer products industry, despite her background in film. Although the company's valuation decreased in subsequent years, The Honest Company continued to grow and diversify its product line. In May 2021, the company went public, allowing Jessica to monetize her stake and significantly increase her net worth. Additionally, she has invested in other startups and has been a proponent of entrepreneurship, especially for women. She has also written a book, The Honest Life, where she shares her philosophy on healthy and sustainable living, which has contributed to her brand image. While she still acts occasionally, much of her focus has been on expanding and managing The Honest Company, as well as her philanthropic and investment initiatives. Sofia Vergara. Most of the actresses we'll cover became millionaires thanks to their impressive performances, but having some business savvy helps too. Take Colombian actress Sofia Vergara, for example. Today, she's one of Hollywood's highest-paid actresses, with an estimated net worth between $180 million and $200 million. Sofia gained international fame for her role in the hit TV series Modern Family, which aired from 2009 to 2020. Her portrayal of Gloria Delgado Pritchett earned her multiple Emmy nominations and made her a well-known name in the industry. And since she was one of the most charismatic characters on the show, essential to its success, Sophia ended up becoming the highest-paid TV star, earning up to $500,000 per episode. I'd love to make that much for just one episode. But it wasn't just about acting. She leveraged her TV fame as a springboard to sign lucrative advertising deals with major brands like Pepsi, CoverGirl, and Head & Shoulders, capitalizing on the popularity the show brought her image. In 2011, she co-founded Latin World Entertainment, a talent management and marketing company focusing on the Hispanic market in the U.S. The company has been highly successful. In fact, the rise of Latino actors in Hollywood productions is partly due to this company. As if that weren't enough, she's also launched clothing and furniture lines, collaborating with brands like Kmart and Rooms to Go. Now tell us, which actress of the new generation do you think will soon join this list? Leave your opinion in the comments. Here are two options that you'll surely love.